I've noticed that older women use that as a shaming tactic to men anytime they date a woman in their 20s. And the thing is this, ladies, it's biological.
Hey there, decrepit old hag over the age of 18 here. Gonna talk about how this is an absolute myth and that men are not biologically hardwired to prefer young women. When dudes say that wanting younger women is just in their DNA, what they're really saying is they want an excuse to be absolute creepers. They're also making an effort to hold on to the last vestiges of power that they have left because women are continuing to encroach on all of the spaces that they once dominated, and they are terrified to lose their unearned privilege and lose the little relevance that they have left. This myth has been perpetuated by evolutionary psychology, which is a widely criticized field because they don't do a good job of distinguishing between environmental and cultural explanations for things and adaptive evolutionary explanations for things. And they don't stand up to the rigorous standards of traditional evolutionary biology when it comes to providing causal evidence. There was this dude, David Buss, who in the late 80s did this study where he looked at men and women across 37 countries and observed that men typically go for younger women, women typically go for older men. And he hypothesized that it was because men were seeking women of peak fertility. But what's interesting is he didn't apply this same mode of thought for women because men also lose fertility as they age. Every year after the age of 20, they're becoming less fertile, and a 40-year-old dude will take at least 2 years to get a peak fertile woman pregnant. People that work in this field are often criticized for conflating what actually is with what they think ought to be. They observe a pattern and then they make it fit a narrative that they already believe. And this is why you'll often see evolutionary psychologists advocating against social change, and why Dr. Buss is often seen with Jordan Peterson chatting on the internet. The really interesting thing about those 37 countries that Buss studied is that if you look at them over time, you track mating strategies and the ages at which people are attracted to one another, and you compare that to the country's UN Gender Equality Index score. As gender equality rises, the age gap shrinks. That idea that men are naturally hardwired to go for younger women starts to disappear almost as quickly as Myron's hairline. So when those traditional gender roles are stripped away, people are getting together closer in age because they have more in common, right? They're at similar life stages, and there are other things influencing what makes a good partnership. So when shitty dudes are talking about youth being the number one thing they look for in a woman, what they're doing is try to devalue women's accomplishments because we're working on outpacing them in every category and they are scared. So they're going to tell you your career doesn't matter, your education doesn't matter, your ambition doesn't matter, your wealth doesn't matter. And what's more important is that you're young and submissive. And what better way for them to try and sell this but by telling you that it's just a matter of biology and it can't be changed. They want to scare women and make them think that if they're over the age of 25, like all male attention will simply vanish. Unfortunately for them, the majority of women are waking up to the fact that life is a lot better without problematic men. And so many women are realizing that y'all simply aren't worth the trouble. And the data supports this. Single, childless women are the happiest in society. They are happier being without men that treat them like dogs or are looking for replacement mommies. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the fact that many of these men also suffer from crippling self-esteem issues. And the only way that they can feel more like a man and more like they have something of value is if they are controlling, manipulating, and abusing someone else. And often, that's women.